Today I'm going to sing you a song. Can you let it go? Can you say goodbye? Can you play a ukulele? No, I can't actually, but the lovely Julia can, fortunately. I thought I would just start with a slight little light, jokey kind of beginning on today's video. And I enjoyed chatting to you yesterday and puffing on my pipe. I know not many people necessarily approve of smoking these days. I've got a marvellous book, which I haven't got to hand, which is called The Pipe Book by Alfred Dunhill. And Julia is now searching around for it because it's here somewhere, but I don't know, it doesn't really matter. It was written in 1924, and I'll probably talk about it a little bit more detail on my smoking channel. Oh, here it is. Look at this. Here we go. It was written in 1924 by Alfred Dunhill, and then it was written, rewritten 40 years later by his son, Alfred H. Dunhill. And it's a pipe book. I bought, well, I don't need to go into reasons why I bought it and all that on this particular episode, but it talks about the ancient people and different tribes across the world and all in different aspects of the world who smoked tobacco and the different types of pipes they used. It's such an ancient thing, and they thought very highly of the wicked weed of the tobacco anyway. And so I enjoyed smoking as I was chatting yesterday, and so I thought, sorry, I'm going to light my pipe and have another chat to you, because as you will gather from if you watch the other channel, pipe smoking is quite thought-provoking. I don't know what it is. I don't know why. It slows you down. Anyway, I don't know what I've done with the lighter now then. Oh, here. No, I've got matches. That'll do it. Or have I got... I put it down somewhere. Not really prepared today. Today's talk, though, I want to talk about is letting go. We hold on to stuff, don't we? We hold on to all sorts of things. Not only objects, but concepts. And my house, I've lived here for over 30 odd years, nearly 34 years now. And as you can imagine, I'm all right, actually, I'll stick with this. But thank you, lovely Julia, producer of the show, is making sure everything's going smoothly. I've just found the lighter down here, look, I'm completely the wrong way around. Here it is, look. We were sitting in the park yesterday, picked up a little stick, makes a perfect little tamper. You can buy tampers. Letting go. And my house is cluttered with stuff. And you know what it's like, you live somewhere for a very long time, you just keep acquiring things, don't you? And one of the things I love are books. Hence buying the book on pipe smoking. But I think it's important to also be able to let go when the time is right to say goodbye to something that is much loved. Have I just lost the focus? Hello, focusy. I hope not, because it's really irritating when that happens. I seem to have let go. Can you just push your finger on my face on the screen? There we go. Just these cameras are very clever, but sometimes they get too clever for their own good. Anyway, are you somebody who can let go of things? Objects have sentimental values, and sometimes it's very difficult to say goodbye. If you've got, say, a car, for example, and you've had that for a long time, it starts falling to bits or it starts having problems, and suddenly you've got that thing about, to repair it is going to cost more than it's worth, and I could sell it. But sometimes the sentimental value of that car, especially if you know its history and it's been reliable for you, you've got to sort of judge up that point where you go, at what point is it no longer reliable? But then there are people who look at things, and cars are one of those things, aren't they, that you feel it's almost got its own consciousness, that it's almost that if you love that, if you polish it and clean it and respect it, it will look after you. And I think to a certain degree that is actually quite true. I think that this world has some very strange anomalies going on, you know, and that it isn't just these things that are completely inanimate and have no vibration that relates to you. I think you do put things into it, and people have heirlooms, don't they, that perhaps it might be a necklace or a watch or a lighter or a pipe, and they're handed down, and you think, well, my dad's in this, or my mum or my sister or somebody, you know, who's gone, but there's an essence of them, and it's very difficult to let go. But sometimes we do have to let go of things, and we do have to say goodbye, and it's very difficult occasionally to do that. And in, of course, this truth freedom area that I've inadvertently found myself talking about, mostly because we're starting to realize that we have been manipulated since we were born, and things are not quite as we really thought, and we're trying to work out who we are, where we are, and what's right in the world and what's wrong in the world. And many of the concepts that we've been told are true are not, and it's very difficult to let those go. It's very difficult to hold on to a world reality that's been fed to us through schools, through work, through the authority figures who said, this is how the world works, and that's it. And I think about this quite a lot, because who's to say that is the way the world works? Because we're all individuals, and at the same time we're all connected by our consciousness to the one, the creator, whatever that is, however you conceive the creator of everything. It clearly wasn't man. And if it wasn't man, I understand that man needs to, you know, we need to sort of get along with one another, and it's nice to have what you might call, I suppose, rules to a degree, just to help us. But sometimes those rules become so in the sand, a line in the sand, so defined that, for example, if you happen to go a little bit over 30 miles an hour in your car and you're clipped by a camera, you know, there's no sort of, oh, don't worry about it. You know, you went a bit fast. No one's hurt, no one's harmed. It didn't hurt anybody. Different if you're going 60 miles an hour past a school. Well, that's reckless. And of course, reckless behaviour doesn't fit in a community or a society or a tribe, however you want to describe people trying to get on with one another. There's a brimming car alarm going on outside, you know. And things like that, you know, antisocial behaviour. You want people to sort of all agree on certain things, and we can have that in a very relaxed way. But some of these rules that we've got now in this world, the legislation, are so draconian and so, well, you've done this and so therefore you need to be penalised, and often that is, we're going to take money from you for no other reason than it's benefiting them and not really benefiting you. And what do you learn from that when someone just decides to take your money from you because you've gone a little bit faster in your car than they deemed was necessary? And sometimes you have to go faster in your car to get out of trouble, or it's reasonable to overtake some idiot who's stuck in the middle lane of a motorway and will not go onto the left because they're going at a certain speed that's not really appropriate for the middle lane, you know. And so sometimes you have to break certain rules, and we need a freedom to be able to do that without being penalised. And what do we learn from it? We learn that these people are so fixed in their minds, and that they're so jobs worth, and that actually a lot of these stuff, now we've got the police running by, it's everything. It's either the police or an ambulance. Have you noticed how many ambulances there are since the medical intervention?
Would you like a stampede next?
I want a window in which you can see the wildebeests marching over, instead of a Torquay hotel window. Little quote there, or misquote really, from Fawlty Towers with Mrs. Richards. Do you remember that? letting go is very difficult, and I think it is something that we all have to learn and we have to understand and be able to do, not just the concepts and physical things, but also friendships. There comes times when a friend in need is a bloody nuisance. You know, mostly you like to help people, don't you? And you want to, but some people cannot be helped. And I dare say that in the last 4 to 5 years since we were locked in our houses, and people have taken a stance that perhaps seems to have been indoctrinated by authority figures, that they cannot accept you because you are a free thinker, or you're thinking outside the box, or you critically looking at a situation and saying, do you know, that doesn't really apply to me, that medication that you want me to take, I don't think I need it. And yet other people will say, oh my goodness, you've got to have that because you'd be killing granny if you don't. Or if you have a stance that you think, I don't know, let's just pick a random thing off the top of my head for no apparent reason, global warming. You know, we're always told, there's more and more information coming out that actually that may not be quite as the authority figures are telling us. And many of us on one side of the argument will be saying, well, we told you that ages ago, you didn't believe us. But some people are so entrenched with that, and they find it difficult. And often you have to let them go, be themselves, and you have to go and tread your own path. And we've all had family members, have we not, and friends during the pandemic of 5 years ago, in which we've had to just walk away from them because they're holding us back. They're draining our energy. And then, of course, you've got those people who literally drain your energy and cannot take responsibility for themselves. They're constantly on your case, asking you to do things for them. And then they almost forget that they have no appreciation for it, and they just rely on you, and people are unable to stand up for themselves, which is a shame. But then I think a lot of that has been actually implemented into them by the world that we live in at the moment. You know, kids are not... You think of school, and, you know, you think at first it's a good idea to have your kids educated. Not necessarily in the way they're doing it. And when I was at school, they never seemed to teach me, when I was at school, they never seemed to teach me things that would be useful in life. They don't teach you really about life skills, about whether tax is necessary or voluntary, or how to deal with money, what money is, what politics are, whether you need a government. You know, you're not taught to question the normality, you're actually indoctrinated. And so I do think one has to let that go at some point. You have to sort of let go of some of the constraints, and we are constrained in many, many ways. And we've all become very impatient as well, as I'm sure you're there thinking, get on with it, Vobes, get on with it. We've all got our lives, busy lives. One of the things that I think that we really need to let go, and this is obviously only a personal opinion, is our reliance on digital technology. It's a very useful thing. I'm using it now. Of course, I can sit here, smoke my pipe, pontificate about nonsense, upload it. You can choose to watch it or not, or switch off if you don't like it. But at the same time, we can see we're heading towards a digital enslavement with this tool. And I think there's part of that we need to let go. We are so dependent on our mobile phones, on our smartphones. And you can't go anywhere now. I mean, I went for a walk yesterday through the parks, and there was a woman sitting there on her phone on a park bench. There was another woman with a baby sitting there on a park bench. Another bloke was walking along looking at his phone. And I leave my phone. I rarely use the phone. It's permanently on silent. I really only use it now occasionally to watch the odd YouTube video, but to talk to the lovely Julia. And I just think we become so reliant on these things that we can't seem to stop. We can't seem to stop. And yet I feel that is something that definitely needs letting go. And it is cathartic eventually when you can get over that hurdle and you go, right, I'm just going to not do that anymore, or I don't need this in my life anymore, and it's gone. And you feel, I don't know whether you are like that, but you feel a certain weight to your body or your mind when you've able to let go. And of course, finally, we have to let go when people die, don't we? Relations, friends, and that can be quite traumatic because we've invested in them, they've invested in us, and then they're no longer here, although they might be. You know, I do often wonder, both my mum and dad have gone, and I do wonder where. I don't believe in life just goes, that's it, you know, the Richard Dawkins approach. I don't believe that's true at all. I think we go on somewhere else. I don't really know who does. A lot of people pretend they know or say they know or have theories about they know, but they don't come back and tell us once they've gone, do they? Or maybe they do. But we have to let go of people, and that can take a lot of difficulty and time. And it's a personal journey. But again, we're letting go all the time. We come with nothing and we go with nothing. And during that time, we have things and we let them go. Are you able to let things go? At the moment, I'm not able to let go of my pipe. So I'm going to enjoy this and then go to the farm shop and try and get some raw milk. I will let you go now. Generous, aren't I? You go and enjoy yourself, and maybe if you haven't got rid of your digital communication devices, I'll see you next time. Till then, thanks for watching. I think I'll play another tune.